Welcome back to The Explainer. We're jumping right into something today that is honestly a total paradigm shift. If you're here to figure out the actual mechanics of building wealth without all the usual financial fluff, you're in the right place. We're unpacking a strategy from our source material that flips traditional advice completely upside down. So let's just get right into it, because this might literally change the way you look at money forever. So, I've got a question for you. What is the absolute #1 tool the ultra-wealthy use to build generational wealth? Now, before you answer, it's not what you think. It's not some secret invite-only hedge fund, it's not the latest crypto coin, and it's definitely not day trading. It's debt. I know, right? It sounds totally backwards. For most of us, just hearing the word debt makes our heart rate spike. We're taught from day one to avoid it like the plague, cut up the credit cards, and live totally debt-free. But the source material reveals this fascinating, counterintuitive reality. The very thing that terrifies everyday Americans is the exact tool those at the top use to get richer. Now let's clarify this right out of the gate. We are absolutely not talking about the suffocating, drowning in bills kind of debt, not the kind that keeps you awake at 3 a.m. We are talking about a highly strategic, calculated financial mechanism. Basically, we're talking about debt that actively puts money into your pocket while you sleep. It's a completely different ballgame.
All right, let's dive into Section 1, the two faces of debt.
To really get how this works, we kind of have to rewire our brains a bit. The source establishes this fundamental dichotomy. On one side, you've got bad debt. This is the stuff that actively takes money out of your pocket. On the other side, you've got good debt, which literally puts money into your pocket. It all boils down to the flow of cash. Is that borrowed money working against you, or is it clocking in and working for you? That distinction is the bedrock of this whole strategy. Let's start with the ugly stuff, the wealth traps. This is the debt that keeps people broke. We're talking about rolling over a credit card balance at a punishing 24% interest rate. We're talking about hefty loans on cars that drop in value the second you pull out of the dealership. Add in those tricky buy now, pay later schemes and payday loans, and you've got a recipe for disaster. This kind of debt just drains your income month after month, keeping you stuck paying for the past instead of funding your future. But then, we pivot to good debt. These are the vehicles the wealthy are actually driving. Think about a mortgage on a rental property where the tenant's rent covers the mortgage and you keep the leftover profit. Or maybe a business loan that generates way more revenue than the loan actually costs. Or, and this is what we're going to really dig into, a low-interest line of credit used specifically to invest. This is strategic leverage.
And that brings us to this incredibly powerful quote straight from the text. The wealthy don't avoid debt, they weaponize it. I mean, how punchy is that? They aren't running from the concept of borrowing. Instead, they're stepping up, taking that borrowed capital and turning it into an offensive weapon to capture more yield and aggressively grow their net worth.
Which brings us nicely to Section 2, the math nobody shows you. Okay, so it's one thing to say weaponize debt, but let's actually prove it. Let's get out of the theory and look at the concrete math provided by the source. Here is the exact step-by-step mechanical breakdown. Step 1, you pull out a HELOC with a 7% interest rate. Step 2, you take 50 grand of that borrowed cash and drop it straight into an ETF called VOO. Step 3, you just step back. You let time and compound interest do all the heavy lifting. Let's quickly define our terms here so we're all on the same page. First, the borrowing tool. A HELOC is a home equity line of credit. For the sake of this specific model, our source puts the cost of borrowing at exactly 7%, meaning it costs you 7% annually to use their money. Next up, the investment engine. VOO is the Vanguard S&P 500 ETF, which tracks the biggest companies in the US. And historically, the source notes this fund returns an average of 10.5% a year. So now we've got our two critical variables, what it costs to borrow and what that money can historically earn us once it's invested. Now this is where the magic happens. Look at the gap between those two numbers. Your cost is capped at 7%, right? But your historical return is humming along up at 10.5%. You're effectively renting money at one rate and deploying it at a significantly higher rate. That gap right there in the middle, that's where generational wealth is born.
That beautiful gap leaves us with 3.5%. That is your net gain, or your spread. Since you're earning 10.5 but only paying 7, you simply pocket the difference. It's positive cash flow. This is exactly what we mean when we say good debt is working in your favor.
So what does that actually mean in the real world? Let's put some dollars to it.
A 3.5% net gain on a $50,000 investment comes out to exactly $1,750. That's your net profit in year one. You borrowed the bank's money, invested it, paid the bank their fee, and you still created almost $2,000 of value essentially out of thin air, just by understanding how the spread works.
But as the text emphasizes, that first $1,750, that's literally just the warm-up act, because compound interest kicks in and makes this gap wider and wider every single year. As your investment in the ETF grows and starts compounding on itself, the mathematical advantage of this leverage just completely takes off.
Which leads us to this absolutely staggering number. If you run this play over a 20-year period, letting compound interest do its thing, that initial $50,000 borrowed and invested into VOO, it swells to roughly $140,000. It exponentially accelerates your wealth, and you didn't even have to spend a decade saving up that initial $50K in cash first.
So here is the ultimate takeaway. You borrowed $50,000 and you built $140,000. By using strategic leverage, you effectively got the bank to help you build your own net worth. You used their capital, you captured the spread, and you let time do the rest. That is the exact playbook the wealthy use.
So, are you ready to see debt differently? We've walked through the stark reality of the debt that traps you versus the debt that empowers you. It isn't about being reckless, it is about being highly strategic with the tools available. Take a second to think about how this paradigm shift might apply to your own financial journey. Thanks so much for hanging out with me for this explainer. Keep learning, keep questioning everything, and I'll see you on the next one. You know, when most of us hear the word debt, we instantly think of stress, right? Anxiety, a massive financial hole we've got to dig ourselves out of. But what if we completely flip that script? What if there's a highly strategic way to look at debt that transforms it from this heavy, crushing burden into a crazy powerful tool for generating wealth? Well, that is exactly what strategic debt arbitrage is all about. And today, we're going to break down the exact math behind how the wealthy actually pull this off.
I can already hear some of you wondering, what if I don't own a home yet? Because look, usually when we talk about using debt to build wealth, the conversation goes straight to real estate, doesn't it? Mortgages, rental properties, HELOCs. And if you're not a homeowner, it's super easy to feel completely locked out of that wealth building club. But here is an advanced, totally counterintuitive secret for you. You do not need a mortgage to start practicing strategic debt arbitrage. There is a whole other path. And honestly, it's hiding right there in plain sight, probably in your wallet right now.
$450. What if I told you that you could generate exactly $450 in pure, unadulterated profit just by borrowing money for literally zero interest? I know, it sounds like a late-night infomercial gimmick. But listen to this. If you take 10 grand and you park it in an account earning 4.5% for exactly 1 year, that is your exact payout. It's an arbitrage strategy that takes the exact same credit systems that usually keep people poor and flips them completely upside down to put cash straight into your pocket.
Okay, let's really dive into the mechanics of this 0% APR strategy. As you probably know, a lot of credit cards offer these promotional periods, 0% APR, for anywhere from 12 to 21 months. Basically, they're letting you borrow money for free, temporarily. So here is the exact playbook some really savvy folks use. First, you open one of these cards with, say, a $10,000 limit. Next, and please, for the love of everything, resist the urge to go buy an 80-inch TV here. You carefully move that money into a high-yield savings account, which is currently yielding around 4.5%, or even an S&P 500 index fund like VOO. Every single month, you pay the absolute bare minimum required just to keep the account in good standing. And then, and this is the most critical part of the whole shebang, you pay the entire balance off completely before that promo period ends. Think about it. During a 12-month window, at a 4.5% yield, you just made $450 on borrowed money. You didn't work extra shifts for it. You just optimized the rules of the game.
Now, hold on. Let's hit the brakes for just a second here. Strict discipline is absolutely required. I literally cannot emphasize this enough. I am not saying this strategy is a free-for-all for everyone. It takes immense focus and a rock-solid plan. Because if you make one single misstep, like one missed payment, or if you accidentally let that balance roll even 1 day past the promotional period, boom, those interest rates are going to skyrocket, and often they hit you retroactively. Your brilliant little arbitrage hack turns into instant, toxic, bad debt, and you're looking at immediate wealth destruction. The strategy works perfectly, yes, but only if you have the absolute iron discipline to execute it flawlessly.
Moving on to Section 1, the golden rule of good debt.
So that 0% strategy we were just talking about, it doesn't just exist in a vacuum. It actually relies entirely on a foundational, absolute mathematical law that the wealthy literally obsess over every single day. And here is that absolute law, the golden rule. Good debt only works when your return exceeds your borrowing cost. That's it. That's the entire secret to wealth-building debt, completely distilled into one sentence. See, it's not about being terrified of debt and avoiding it entirely. It's about meticulously managing the spread between what money costs you to borrow and what that same money can earn for you. Every single percentage point matters here, guys. If you can borrow at a lower rate than you can earn, you are essentially printing money. If the inverse is true, you are bleeding money. It is an uncompromising, undeniable law of finance.
To put that into perspective, let's look at this comparison of good debt versus bad debt. Imagine a winning scenario on the left side. You borrow money at 7%, maybe to fund a business or secure a piece of real estate, and you earn a 10.5% return on your investments. You are winning. You get to pocket that sweet 3.5% difference. But look at the right side. What about bad debt? If you're carrying a standard credit card balance at 24% interest and earning that exact same 10.5% in the market, you are actively losing 13.5% overall. You are rapidly moving backwards. The math will literally never ever work in your favor when you're carrying 24% interest. And this is exactly why the wealthy obsess over these numbers and why high-interest credit card debt is just the ultimate form of wealth destruction.
All right, let's get into Section 2, your action plan.
So the theory is great, the math is crystal clear, but how do we actually apply this to our own lives safely? Let's walk through these 5 steps methodically, because I promise you, the order here is everything. Step 1. Kill all bad debt first. Credit cards, high-interest personal loans. Wiping these out is absolutely 100% non-negotiable. Like we just saw, you simply cannot out-invest 24% interest. Step 2. Build your emergency fund. You need 3 to 6 months of living expenses sitting securely in a high-yield savings account. This is your safety net, so you don't end up falling right back into bad debt the second life throws you a curveball. Step 3. Now, if you are a homeowner, this is where you might explore a HELOC, a home equity line of credit at a favorable rate, and then consistently invest the difference into an S&P 500 index fund. Step 4. If you don't own a home yet, this is exactly where you can carefully deploy that 0% APR offer we talked about earlier. But remember, only if you have the iron discipline to pay it off in time. And finally, Step 5. Let compound interest work.
I really want to spend a moment on that final step, because honestly, it's the ultimate destination of this entire journey. Let your investments like VOO grow. And please, please do not panic sell just because the market had a bad Tuesday. You've got to let compound interest do the heavy lifting here. True wealth doesn't just come from cleverly moving a few bucks around or hacking a couple of credit cards. It comes from deeply understanding which debt works for you, managing it safely, investing the difference, and then, honestly, just getting out of your own way. You have to be patient. It's like a giant puzzle. You put the pieces in place, and then you let compound interest work its magic in the background over years, even decades, without touching it. The wealthy didn't get rich by running away from all debt. They got rich by understanding the math, applying it coldly, and letting time do the hard work for them.
Which brings us to our final thought for this explainer. I want you to take a step back, take a deep breath, and really evaluate your own financial standing today. Are you carrying bad debt right now? Are you letting high interest rates quietly destroy your wealth behind the scenes? Or are you using debt strategically on your own terms to actively build wealth? Because you now know the real difference between debt that destroys you and the mathematical reality of debt that builds you. So the only question left is, which side of the equation are you going to choose to be on from this day forward? Think about it. Keep learning, keep running those numbers, and I will see you in the next explainer.